I've been thinking about something a lot lately, and it's about how when I was in college, I was a nanny. And I often nannied for wealthier families because I was living in the city. And these families almost always had a stay-at-home mom, which seems weird, right? Like, why are they hiring me if they have a stay-at-home mom? But they were wealthy, and I figured they could just afford me. But once I started working for them, I quickly realized that these women were not stay-at-home moms at all. They were working moms who took care of their children for part of the day, and then the other 6 hours that they had me, they spent working on their husband's businesses. They literally would go into an office and work all day on his business. And this happened multiple times. I probably nannied for 4 different stay-at-home moms who all worked in some capacity for their husband's business. And that's why I was there. And so they did all kinds of things: accounting, social media, HR, etc. They were doing all sorts of things. One of them was a lawyer, and so she left her law firm and just worked for him, but like was not on the payroll, had no title, was not on the website, not on LinkedIn. It was like they were this secret person behind the scenes. And the reason I can't stop thinking about this is because I think it's incredibly common that women sacrifice their careers to support their partners. Sometimes these women actually told me that they worked full-time as a lawyer to support him while he got his business off the ground. And then once he got his business off the ground, she had to leave her job to care for their kids. Then she would work for him. But the funny thing is, when these guys would be interviewed, because they were pretty successful, they would be interviewed and people would ask them what they credit for their success. They never once would say, like, if it weren't for my partner, I wouldn't have even been able to do this. Like, she worked so I could do this. They never say that, which is crazy, because it's like, if she didn't exist, neither would this company. Or maybe it would, but it would have looked very different, right? If you didn't have her funding your life. And oftentimes, men will be asked what they credit for their success, right? But if a woman reaches a certain level of success, people will say, how do you manage it? They'll ask her, how do you manage having children and being successful in business? How do you travel so often for work when you have young kids? How are you doing all of this? What supports do you have in place? And these women will say, well, I have to outsource things. I have a nanny, and I pay somebody to do my laundry, and there's food delivery, whatever it might be. But when they ask men how they're able to do it, that's not what they're asking. They're asking, how did you raise money? What did your network look like? What kind of education did you have? Did you get your master's? All these questions, but they're not wondering how they manage their home life, because they assume there's a woman behind him sacrificing to allow him to do that. Men can have small children and chase a dream. Women very rarely can do that because the support just doesn't exist. And so I can't stop thinking about it, because at the time I was like 21 years old, and I remember just thinking like, wow, this is so weird. They're all like stay-at-home moms, but they're working, and I don't know why they call themselves that, but whatever, here I am, I'm getting paid, it is what it is. And now that I'm an adult who pays for childcare so I can work full-time, I can't imagine what it must feel like to feel like you're so behind the scenes and nobody knows it.